I have been selling this book, Zanazli and Wan Chun Hong's Guide to Indie Filmmaking, which is published by MPH for a while now. It's a really good book if you want to be a filmmaker, whether it's for YouTube, social media, TV, film, cinema, whatever. This is the book to get. I'm going to make it more accessible and more affordable to all of you because I believe that everybody needs to become a filmmaker. The more filmmakers we have in the world, I think this world will be a better place to live in. Now it's available as an electronic book download on my website. I'm going to link it here. It's really cheap, it's really affordable. It's only 5 ringgit if you want to get the ebook version. Okay, 5 ringgit. It doesn't really cost much, right? It's just a little bit of something for me. I mean, it did take a lot of work to write. Each chapter of this book talks about one part of the filmmaking process. And for each chapter as well, I interview a local filmmaker. It's only 5 ringgit. It's only 5 ringgit. You're watching and listening to the FAT BIDIN Film Club, and I'm assuming I'm Zan Azli. As usual, every week we watch a local film, we review it, and this week we're reviewing a local film.
And it's premiere.
At the premiere. It's Eastland of Mine. Okay, so we watched Tafakur.
No!
Oh.
I mean, yes, we did watch Tafakur.
We watched This Land of Mine by Faisal Azizuddin.
Yes.
So, what's it about? Wait, we were at the premiere.
We were at the premiere.
Applause for our first cast member, Mushi Mokhtar. So Mushi Mokhtar, this is our first feature film, and we are really happy to have you here tonight. And we have next second. Guys, we have Suki. We have Shafini Salai. Haji Jizari, and a very magical Sadiq. And of course, we see him in every finest film, it's Shazam Zikri. And today I'm going to introduce my brother Faisal and his wife Azza Aziz. And of course, that's me, Iskandar Azizuddin. So thank you for coming tonight. It's just a small event which turned into a big event. This is our cast, our director. We would like to invite you to, if you have not redeemed your food, redeem your food. And then we would like to invite you into the malls and get your seats. So thank you very much. And please feel free to come and take pictures first.
Are you going to show them things from the premiere?
Yeah, I already cut already before you said that.
Oh, okay. Okay, anyway.
So what's the movie about?
The movie is about okay, so the movie is about these 3 people who go to an orang asal village in Perak to deliver like aid, and then on the way back to the mainland they get stranded somewhere else, and then they find a journal of a guy who is looking for a mysterious plant that is supposed to be able to like heal all illnesses, and then at the same time, like, not to say strange things happen, but like there's like something that kind of like chases them, and then they have to find their way back to the mainland, and at the same time also more things happen with
They're
the
lost
journal.
they're lost in the
And
jungle.
they're lost in the jungle. So there's basically like 2 people from a, I want to say NGO, kind of like an NGO.
It's an NGO. It is an NGO.
Okay, 2 people from the NGO. And then there is a videographer who's documenting their work. Ami, I think is his name. So that's what the story is about.
Okay, so what do we think about it?
Okay, so it's a little bit unfortunate, I feel, that this came out after Tafakur, because Tafakur was better than this. But this was shot in 2021, and it was supposed to be Faisal's debut film, it seems. So I read somewhere. But it's not, and it was released on Tuesday. Well, it released on Thursday to the city, but the premiere was on Tuesday, which we went to. I liked the story idea, and I liked kind of where they were going with it a little bit, but the pacing of it was a little bit too slow. So it was like really, everything was kind of like drawn out, and the breakers were only when this creature in the forest was like attacking them, and those were the only breakers. That was one thing. The second thing was that,
What are breakers?
like, when when it's like dragged out so long, then you like kind of want to like give up already, but then the creature will attack you, then I suddenly feel like, oh, the pace is broken, so it's not so like draggy already lah, was what I felt. And then the characters didn't really feel, they felt a little bit half-baked. So like the videographer guy is the guy that elicited the most reaction from me, because he was very annoying. But that was it. That was the only reaction I had. He was like clearly this ignorant like city guy. The acting was great though. He did play the part very well. So he was clearly this like ignorant city guy, doesn't know like anything really. Wants to be famous, already hit 10,000 subscribers and thinks he's like hot shit. And he's like greedy lah. So he wants to like now find a plant because he wants to like bring it back and become famous. Ooh. And then the NGO people, it's a girl and a guy, and the girl is the main, kind of like the main character, right? And the guy is just her, I want to say assistant, but he was more like a bodyguard. And anyway, he something happens to him quite early on, so he doesn't feature after that. And then there's the boatman, the Orang Asal boatman Ronnie, who's
like a cartoon comical figure.
Who's the comic relief, or supposed to be the comic relief in the whole thing. Their characters are kind of not really, want to say fleshed out properly is not really what I'm going for, but I just really felt that they were very boxed in lah. It was very stagnant, there was clearly a character. I feel like the character was actually developed, but that was it. There was no character development in the film. And then there were all these like little plot holes that were kind of stressing me out. So there's this girl, the girl from the NGO, whose name escapes me at the moment. She is like sick. She's sick, so this is going to be her last like relief, whatever. And then when she finds this journal, she's suddenly like so captivated by it, and she needs to know what happens. And she's carrying around this teddy bear that her father gave her because her father like died or disappeared, right? So she like, I don't know, feels a connection to the journal because the guy in the journal also has a daughter. And then when they finally reach the climax of the big reveal, I didn't really feel like it was a reveal. So I was just like, okay, so and then the next thing I know, the movie finished. So I was like so frustrated because it just like kind of ended with no real, not to say no real resolution, but it didn't solve all these puzzles that it kind of built up. So then I was like, okay, then what's the point? And then her obsession with the journal also like doesn't really, I feel like the motivation is a bit like lapsed, like, is it coming from the standpoint of because she's a anthropologist, or because she's sick and she's seeking answers? Like, why? Or because, I know in the film it's because she feels like it's, she reminds her of her father and everything, but I don't really think that's good enough of a reason to be like, she was literally, there's one point where they like fall into a pit of shit, right? And she's literally digging in the pit of shit for like pages of the journal and looking for the journal. So I don't know if the connection is really that strong that you want to go be digging in like monster shit for a journal lah. So it was one of those films that I felt had the potential to be great, but then was not great. But was also not entirely terrible because I was very intrigued, you know. It did have my attention all the way to the end. But then in the last 10 minutes, it like lost me because I was like, "Citu je? Really?" And then the final frame, obviously, like, I was very like vindicated lah because of what came out in the final frame. But that was it. Yeah, that's how I felt. How did you feel?
I feel I didn't like it. Look, you all people who watch us review Faiz production films have to understand that you have to take it with a pinch of salt because we are biased and we like the two brothers, right? We like Faizal Izzuddin, we like Iskandar Izzuddin, we like the way they make their films, we like their spirit, we like their, you know, their commitment lah. Yeah, they're nice guys, right? Yeah. And look, we've reviewed, so they also recently, a couple of weeks ago or last month, released another film, Tafakur, right? Tafakur was great. I really liked Tafakur, and I think Tafakur was the best film. We'll link it here. You can see the review, what we thought about Tafakur. It's the best film yet.
Yes.
Now, like you mentioned, this film was done before it.
But it came out after it.
Yeah, it came out after it. I don't know, because this film, like you said, the story has potential, but there were too many. The film was loose lah. It wasn't really. I don't know if it's a script, but definitely the directing is a little bit not tight. You know, like you said, everything that you said, like the plot holes, the way the characters were slightly underdeveloped, certain logical flows also in the story also kind of like, you know, begs questions lah. You know, but it's not totally horrible. The film is not totally horrible, and I'm going to say that I'm going to retract saying that I did not like it. I am not liking it because I'm comparing it to Tafakur.
Correct.
And I'm also comparing it to so many other like good films that will come out lah. From now onwards, I'm always going to hold these brothers to a higher standard than I normally used to hold them to, right? Because it is proven that this is like every time they make a film, it gets better and better and better and better. Which we have said. I have said this in my last review,
we have said this many times,
right? So okay, I can understand this was made before Tafakur, so maybe that's why it's not as good as Tafakur. So it's still good, right? But I'm gonna hold you guys to a higher standard, okay, brothers? So this could have been tighter if you take what Cheryl said just now. Wow, now I feel like I'm a teacher teaching them pula. It's not that. You guys have way more experience making films like this than I have, right? I'm just someone who's reviewing your films. But again, I still enjoyed the film. Right? I enjoyed the film. This is a film where a sudden creature like a dinosaur popping up is suitable for the story. Not like some other film where suddenly a dinosaur comes out for no reason. That one different lah, if you know what I'm saying.
Why did you have to say it was a dinosaur? Now everyone knows.
Well, it's not really.
So sad. I was really keeping it, okay?
Look,
didn't want people to know it was a dinosaur.
It's not necessarily a dinosaur too, either. You know what I mean?
It was a dinosaur though. It was very clear it was a dinosaur.
No, actually, not for me. Because it could be, it might not be a dinosaur. It had the sama-sama of a dinosaur. Right? But it probably isn't.
Dinosaur adjacent lah. Some prehistoric creature.
Might not even be, it's not prehistoric even. I think it's super, I think that because it has elements of like indigenous people and culture and, you know, I don't see it as a dinosaur or as a creature. I see it as something supernatural and more of a spirit or belief rather than if you want to look at it metaphorically, right? I see it as more of like a spirit or a belief rather than a monster that comes and attack people. It's like watching Godzilla in a Japanese film.
Yeah.
Godzilla, you know, you can see it as a monster, but it could also mean so many other things. They're also like that lah. So in a way, the film has, that's why you say the story has potential. You know? Yeah.
So I feel like since this, I mean, okay, they already shot it and everything after and they are releasing it now, maybe in the post-production, considering the experience that you have gained from the time that you shot it to now, it could have been reworked a bit lah in post. I felt like,
How?
I don't know, it could have been tighter, some things could have been cut. There are ways.
Is it? Don't fall into the trap of a reviewer just saying things.
No,
And
I'm
then
not
they will
falling into the
"Oh,
trap
kau
of-
buat lah nanti lah."
No, I'm not
Kau lah buat
falling into
filem.
the trap.
Cakap
I'm
je.
not falling into the trap of a reviewer saying things. I just really feel that with Faisal's experience now compared to 2021, he could have looked at this rough cut of this film and seen things that he could have fixed. But also, fine, I will concede that it's very hard for directors to do that because we
It's already
always
done.
because the film is never done. So you're just going to see like 50 things that you feel are wrong, and then you never know when your film is actually ready. But in this case, I feel like when he was looking at it in post many years later, after making so many other films, there were things that he could have fixed in post. But I guess were not fixed, or maybe he did fix some and then there are others that were left. So by our standards, this is a kind of okay Vice production films. It's not the best one, but it's also not the worst one.
I like when I make films, my films always end. It has never come to a point where my film never ends because we always see something. My film always ends, and it ends at the point where I'm just too lazy to do anything already. Finish lah, you know. No, but this is what you said just now is a good problem that these brothers have because it means that they're prolific and they're constantly making films. They're making so many. They're so prolific that they have films being released after films that have already been released, that were done before, after, and everything. They've got like a bank.
Yeah, they're gonna
of
release a
films.
documentary soon.
Yeah,
so
so this is a good problem that they have. They're very prolific.
Correct, yeah.
So yeah, it's okay. Yeah. So
Yeah, so
will you tell people to
basically-
watch it?
Yes, I would still
lah,
tell
go.
people to watch
Yeah.
it. I was very upset that Tafakur only is currently the lowest grossing local film of the year because it doesn't deserve to be. There were films on their list that honestly deserve to be rock bottom, and Tafakur was not one of them. It's actually one of the better films we saw this year, and it's just a shame lah that more Malaysians didn't see it. So
we know that in the film industry, marketing and promotions plays a big part of it. And if that isn't if there are not enough resources to do that well, maybe the film deserves to be at the lower.
So maybe like Fizz Productions should invest in some marketing, and call like some
Maybe.
media strategists to do some work for them.
Maybe, but
Yeah. Anyway,
if you're a filmmaker, you've got only so much.
correct.
Like us, also, we will probably put it all into the film, but that's not so wise, also, right? We need to be a little bit business savvy as well. So
Okay, anyway,
yeah.
I will tell people to watch this film. It might not be the best Fizz Productions film, but it's also not a bad film. And there are a lot of bad films up there, so you should support the ones that are at least decent lah.
Yeah.
So
know what you think.
watch this film.
Okay,
Watch
so
this film.
like this video, don't like this video, follow us, or subscribe to this channel, follow us on all our social media platforms at FAT BIDIN, or go to fatbidin.com to get everything. You've been watching and listening to the FAT BIDIN Film Club. I'm assuming I'm Zan Azli.
And I'm Shawai Mustafa.